Blog Talk Radio.
Yes, I'm here, and we can already see which way this is going. Unless there's some major change, they've essentially put her person. Hillary Clinton is going to be the next president. I guess our female first president, from first lady to first wannabe a man. President that's a female, if we haven't already had one, and we didn't know about the brothers before, if we can call them that. I just think that when you look at this thing, My Brother's Keeper program that just kicked off today, that Obama's going to do something to help minority males. I mean, hell, some of the minority males are doing good. We need to talk about African-American people have been screwed since before this was a republic. And the screwing's not going to stop until the political system is completely vanquished and something else is put in its place. You really can't reform a plutocratic, white, fascist pig, thieving, lying, hedonistic, satanic, Kabbalistic, Illuminati, globalistic, European noble banking families. They don't reform. You either have a revolution or something shoves them out of the way. So we can just be real voting. I guess it counts if they count your vote. And we can have another discussion another day. And, I really don't care about what ignorant people think or underinformed people. And if you're a reformist, screw you. Because we've been experiencing 50 years of reform since the Civil Rights Act was signed way back in February of 1964. We've had 50 years of reform, and our families are jacked up. Our boys want to be girls, girls want to be boys. Our farmers are losing their land. Howard University has laid off 5.5%, almost 6% of its workers in the last 6 months. Black schools are closing. Black neighborhoods are going from black enclaves to white, yuppie, gay bastions. We've had reform. So if you're going to call up, don't be a reformer. Now, if you're a Tea Party and you can't stand the Clintons and you're a white bigot that don't like Hillary Clinton, this will be one day your call is welcome, because we can all agree this is a hate-in on Hillary or Billary. I like that, Billary. We're going to call her that for a minute. She does sort of look like, I call her Billary. She looks a little like James Cagney on a good hair day. And She needs to be looked at. People need to be very careful. You know, white women get a pass, especially with black men. They somehow think, well, you know, I'm going to get some. Really? A whole lot of black men got some. When we were enslaved and when we were sharecropping, they got some. If it doesn't change the destiny and the fate of your people, you're simply masturbating in a hole that's not yours. Okay, and for all you black sisters that are lesbians and you think you're going to get some of Hillary, well, black women were used by white women in slavery, ripped off. There's a saint named Anastasia in Brazil, a black woman who was forced to wear iron mask so she would be ugly to her master because his white wife was jealous that she couldn't get her white husband to pay attention to her, so she deformed a black woman. A lot of black women, forgive me, y'all are dumb as hell. You think there's some sisterhood? Really? How come you earn less money than white women do? How come white women on juries, like what happened with Jordan Davis, vote against justice for your sons, husbands, or nephews, whatever, when they get killed? And Hillary will be no different. Hillary is a radical feminist. Many people, I live in D.C., and, you know, everybody thinks of Hillary, you know, she may as well be, you know, basically a carpet-munching, ultra-liberal fraud. All of y'all that talk about good minimum wage, y'all don't seem to remember that Hillary was on the board of Walmart, the same largest corporation in this country in terms of hiring people, where folks fill in the papers with their job applications for welfare, food stamps. Hillary knew about it. And remember something, Hillary's from Arkansas, where the Waltons are from, who own Walmart. She knows all about it. She's also hooked up with the Tysons, the people who give you the chicken with all the sex hormones. And that's why kids are growing boobs when they're 2 years old. Even boys have boobs. The Tysons are the same people who underpay and have a bunch of illegal folks from Mexico, and you got all these black folks working for practically nothing. People forget Arkansas is in the bottom 45 states. They're in the last 5 in terms of education, in terms of everything. So how does some woman claim a legacy when she and her husband come from one of the most broke states in the Union? What did they really do in Arkansas? Did you know under Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, the Bloods and the Crips with their drugs were killing all these people down there? That's even before they get to the executive mansion that they started calling the White House to let black folks know after Booker T. Washington had dinner with Roosevelt that they didn't belong there, except for as maids and all that kind of stuff. Hillary Clinton is a rabid eugenicist. She thinks there are too many black people on the face of this earth, okay? Hillary Clinton more than likely was at her husband's side when he had that black prisoner electrocuted way back in 1993 when Bill Clinton, or 92, when Bill Clinton was running for president, or 91, and there was this retarded black man. He couldn't even tie his shoes, but they said raped somebody, and he was on death row. And when Bill Clinton was low in the polls against the other people, he went and watched that man be executed, and he went up in the polls. If you don't think that he and Hillary talked about frying this black man to heat, because he was governor then, and Bill Clinton had a black man murdered to help himself in the polls, and Hillary was down for it. Hillary is the stepmother to at least one black boy who's in his 20s. Oh, yes, Bill Clinton, he's a hole, and his wife is rife with scandal. People forget that when Bill Clinton was governor of Arkansas, a man by the name of Barry Seal, he was bringing over plane load after plane load of cocaine into Mena, Arkansas. When Bill Clinton was governor, Bill Clinton presided over all of this cocaine coming. Not that he brought it in, but you need to know that he certainly had some of the products, or at least his brother Roger Clinton was a major dope user, snorted cocaine so much. And yet Bill Clinton and his wife by his side signed that omnibus crime bill that has put millions and millions of our young men and women behind bars and destroyed their lives. Mm-hmm. Has Hillary said anything about this disparity of this prison industrial complex that she and her husband helped do? Because, part of her being president is talking about being first lady. Well, damn it, if you're with him when he does it, you're an accessory. So Hillary is an accessory of the genocide that's been going on in Congo and in Rwanda, because Bill Clinton's buddy and his little tramp friend, not tramp, but she's a sellout, the Jamaican-American woman who's the National Security Advisor, Susan Rice. It was Susan Rice that Bill and Hillary listened to when people were being killed 1,000 or so a day in Rwanda, that wasn't genocide. It was the Clintons who started sending all these weapons and stuff to Africa and AFRICOM, and then Bush just took it to another level. Oh, yes, it was Hillary's husband who did the welfare reform that began to cut off millions of our people. So now you have people without food in this country. So it was Hillary who worked with a guy by the name of Wade Hubble, who did all kinds of crooked stuff, manufactured airplanes with compartments that you could hide things in, that flew into Mina. I told you what flew into Mina. Figure it out. Why did Hillary's good friend, people here in D.C. say was a boyfriend, Vincent Foster, kill himself? Or other people say he was shot in the head. Someone shot him in the head. Either he did it or somebody had it done. How does Hillary Clinton, way, way back when she's working for Rhodes Law Firm, which has a very strange history, people forget about Rhodes Law Firm, where she gets $1,000, puts it on the stock market, and makes $100,000 out of it. And then when people start raising hell, she closes the account. Now, you tell me how many people who know nothing about stock can make it grow 100 times in a very short period. That's a long time ago, but people forget about that. Now, I can bring it up to now. I just want to say to you, when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, y'all worried about all this stuff? Did you know that Hillary Clinton's one of the biggest proponents for forcing all these African countries to have all this openly gay marriage? She's one of the people pushing for mass abortion. She supported the Pfizer Corporation and Bill and Melinda Gates, who plan to sterilize and destroy the health of black women in Africa and the rest of the world. Did you know that's what's going on, what she's down with? That's what Hillary's about. You can't point to one frigging thing Hillary's done for black people. You can't point to it. Hillary was Secretary of State when Obama let those people, Haitians, who were the victims of a HAARP earthquake, let them die in the rubble. Nothing's been done for Haiti. They continue to be killed and massacred and raped. I do know this. The Clintons work with the right-wing people who do the killing down. I mean, they're business people, but they're still involved with the death squads and all the terrorized people. The Clintons own the cellular phones or something. They're making money. So Haiti, the beacon of freedom for black people in the Western Hemisphere, in the Americas, the Clintons are some of the worst people that have ever come along in history to the people of Haiti. Lest we forget that Hillary lied to, tricked, and set up Muammar Gaddafi to be murdered and assassinated. Lest we forget Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State when tens of thousands of black Libyans were murdered because of the color of their skin, and they're still being killed. That was reported today, the people that were being rounded up. Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State when Hugo Chavez and several other key Latin American leaders ended up getting sick from mysterious cancers. Clinton was Secretary of State when the homosexual ambassador Christopher Stevens was killed because they were running guns and missiles to Syria. Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State, where people were allowed to die by the tens of thousands in Somalia because she's mad. She remembers when her husband, and before him, Papa Bush, went into Somalia to make certain that Chevron Oil could get its concessions that it had arranged with the previous previous leader of Somalia, Siad Barre. They weren't in there to feed people, folks. That's a damn lie. There are hungry people here. You see them trying to feed somebody? Right. So why, if you won't feed black people in America who pay taxes, why are you going to feed folks carrying AK-47s that are hungry in Africa? Come off the crap, people. They were there to secure oil supplies because Somalia is rich in oil, uranium, gold. They've got maybe 40 billion barrels of oil in Somalia. That's what that invasion, restoring hope. It should be restoring dope. Hillary Clinton, who has been Secretary of State and been in there for a while, do you know that the amount of heroin that's being produced, or should I say opium, in Afghanistan has increased over 4,000 times between Clinton and Obama being head of state? No way Hillary doesn't know. Many people don't know. Over 1 million people have died from heroin-related medical problems in just the last 10 years. 5 of those are solidly in Obama's camp. I don't care who black gets pried out of this Kenyan-American fraud, who don't care about you. And I really don't give a damn if you don't like me telling you the facts of it, because in 2 years, well, we're even further behind than what we were in 2008. All of y'all are going to say, who could have seen in advance? I can't stand lying black people who like denying reality. We don't have a black president. We have a corporate president who fights for everybody but any interest we have. In fact, Eric Holder was sick today, and someone wrote me and asked me about it, and I said, the Ink Spots have a song called If I Didn't Care. Well, I told him my song is I Don't Care. Hillary Clinton has presided over the State Department that has disproportionately deported black immigrants out of the United States while letting all the little Mexican gangsters go straight up to Chicago with their guns to help destroy our people. Hillary Clinton presided over the coup that took out the president in Honduras, the first government in almost a 200-year period of the history of the country of Honduras that black people would have an opportunity to be represented in society, and Hillary and Barack took them down. Hillary Clinton presided over the State Department when they tried to get rid of the president of Ecuador, Correa, the first Ecuadorian president to reach out to black people in the history of Ecuador. Hillary Clinton has presided over the State Department as land grabbing has defrauded millions of Africans of their land and their homes. Hillary Clinton has abated and abetted sanctions against Brother Mugabe and the righteous Shona and Ndebele people of Zimbabwe, causing mass suffering. Hillary Clinton has helped drive the whole eugenics agenda to the point where millions, up to 100 to 200 million African women will be introduced to unsafe contraceptives. Hillary Clinton has helped pioneer and push as part of American policy abortion in places like Imo State in Nigeria. Hillary Clinton has pushed contraception and abortion over clean water, anti-malarials, solar power, things people need. It's just kill those babies. Kill them. Kill them. Kill the black babies. Hillary Clinton is an enemy to black people everywhere. She's even an enemy to black women. Even though, our sisters who've lost faith in black men, but you don't have anything else, fool. Same way no black man has anything but his black woman, no matter how many blondes offer themselves after gin and tonic at some school or keg party or place of work. All you got is your sisters, fools. Now, Hillary Clinton ran a racist campaign against Barack Obama. If you ever read, there was a book that came out. Bill Clinton called the man y'all love, Bill Clinton, a cabana boy. That's a nice way for calling him a slave. Y'all forgot all that. We forget. Hillary Clinton did nothing during Hurricane Katrina. Hillary Clinton did nothing when black people's votes were stolen in Ohio. Hillary Clinton has initiated no legislation that I'm aware of that's ever done or offered anything remotely available to black people. Clinton was not one of the people that pioneered the repeal of the Rockefeller laws that had all these black folks in jail in the state of New York. Hillary Clinton has done nothing in terms of police brutality or job opportunities. She just isn't there. People, it's all a big white public relations fraud. Hillary Clinton has said nothing. Her favorite state of Israel and its discrimination against people from Africa and Israel who are marched by when she was Secretary of State. Hillary Clinton was silent about 60% of the Depo-Provera, a drug that can destroy women, make them sterile. We'll go through Depo-Provera. It was being disproportionately targeted at black women who are like 2% of the women in Israel using 60% of the drug. Hillary Clinton didn't say nothing. There's no stand that this woman takes for anything except for Israel, war, homosexual advancement, and baby killing. Can't point to anything else. There's nothing else. Kill the babies. Do it till you're satisfied as long as you're not straight. Oh, Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, when reports of epidemics of rape and abuse of American service women, do you think Hillary Clinton said anything? Do you think Hillary Clinton would help Dr. John Jacobs, whose daughter Dr. John Johnson, when his daughter Lavina Johnson was raped, executed, mutilated, and set on fire in Iraq? Did Hillary Clinton help a black woman? No. Did Hillary raise this issue when her husband was president? When this was being addressed, people, groups like Amnesty International, did Hillary speak up for women? Nope. And by the way, sisters, all of you cheerleaders for these politicians that don't like you, just give a man a big car and a title, and you can be Ike Turner towards the system. They won't complain. Just don't be broke and not treat them like you're Ike Turner. Yeah, I'm trying to get in a fight with some of y'all. You know I don't care. I just don't care. Sisters, when all these folks were getting raped, Hillary Clinton was in the Senate. Black women comprised almost 40% of the women in the women in the Army, somewhere between 35-40%, which means that they're disproportionately raped. Any advocacy for our sister Hillary? Nope. It's not happening, y'all. It's not happening. It's never going to happen. She does not care. Her husband does not care. And we're about to get screwed all over again. Now, I understand Obama's got y'all fooled because of the melanin in his skin, and he's got pigmentation, and Michelle seems like a round-the-block girl, and she's not. And the kids, they get perms in their hair, so I guess you can identify with them if you're not getting weaves. But once this show, the the Barack and Michelle show is over, I don't think I want to see a rerun of Bill and Hill. Okay, I'm just not interested. You need to know that Hillary supported all the wars that Bush pushed. She was for it. She's for it. Do you know what my sources say to me is the reason the African countries supported the destruction of the Jamaria in Libya was because Hillary would go to different places and say, if you guys don't support us, we're going to have some of these crazy terrorist-type people invade your country. This is what I understand was threatened to South Africa. Now, yeah, she did something, and she did way back. She did some radical stuff. You know, white folks go through these hippie phases. Sometimes they're anarchists. But you know what? That's part of white privilege, that you can throw a bomb one year and be a young Republican trying to execute everybody black the next year. If you don't stay committed to these causes, then it was just a phase. That's the same way some people smoke weed, and then they went to crack, or they went to something else, they shot dope. Well, so she was a campus radical when it was normal. Okay, when it was okay and everybody was doing stuff, so she did it then. But people need to remember, she had all of that information suppressed once she became, you know, important. She don't want no one to know what she used to say. And, you know, so I don't know. People really think that she's all that. Nope, I don't think so. And she did something with the Children's Defense Fund. Marion Wright Edelman, I guess they do some good. But you know what? Aside from doing all this advocacy, honestly, and telling people how bad off black kids are and how kids need this, honestly, no disrespect, Marion Wright Edelman, who Hillary Clinton pimped to make it seem as if she's down with black people. Children's Defense, the Defense Fund is a major NGO that pushes policy, but are our children hungrier now than ever before? I'm not blaming the Children's Defense Fund for the hunger, but clearly whatever they're doing is less effective than ever before. So if that's Hillary Clinton's point of reference to show she's down with black people, that's kind of like me trying to go on a prom, or neighborhood prom with Ashira driving an Edsel. It may have been a good car back then, but right now nobody want to get in it. You know, it's sort of like a prostitute with a tag on saying "I have AIDS." It may have looked good, but once you got close and saw it up, it's just, no, I can't die for that. You know, I'm trying to be a little humorous, but I'm trying to say, Hillary, there's nothing here. There's nothing going to be there. Nothing. I mean, you have to remember this woman can make $1,000 become $100,000 in like 10 months. That's insider trading. That's a lie. When she was working, she expanded the Legal Services Corporation by like 300%. You know, people directed money to her because her husband was the governor. Huh? There's a lot of corruption that all these people have, you know. And, you know, just get used to it. You know, and here's a woman, let's just go personal, right? You had one child. What's that girl's name? She had hair that looked like it needed to be hot combed. Tell me her name. What's her child's name? Chelsea. But, you know, yes, Chelsea, and who had a lip job. Those lips were so big she could have broke danced on those things. Just once. Now she's become like a kind of a white society lady, so she had her lips made small. Those lips were big. I mean, a lot of brothers were imagining BJs with the president's daughter when she grew up. I mean, I didn't, because I kind of like black sisters more, or Indian, something. Give me some color. You know, it's sort of like fish. Have you ever seen a pale fish? That's how I feel about a lack of color. Color, to me, symbolizes death when you're really pale. You know, you need to get some auto tan from the cosmetic desk at one of those major department stores, because pale white ain't doing nothing for anybody except for a soft-headed Negro like Clarence Thomas. And everybody knows he's crazy. He's crazy. He can't help it. If I grew up in Georgia trying to find crabs and stuff, I mean, and you're not in the Chesapeake Bay, that's kind of stupid anyhow. But we'll get into that another day. We know his wife looks like the Quaker Oats, man, with some Botox. Well, that's okay, but she's rich. She has $400 million. Hillary's trying to get that much if they haven't stolen it since they've gotten out of office. You know, you wonder about the Clintons. And gentrification. She and her husband moved to Harlem. What has happened to Harlem since Bill Clinton got there? They just driving all the black people out, taking everything. I even heard this Hispanic dude is now getting all the support. Will Wrangle's corrupt crypto Puerto Rican so-and-so, but it's not going to be there no more. He won't be able to steal no more Wrangle. I still like you. He helped me get out of Howard. So I have to give him, a black nationalist clap. You helped me when very few people would, so I'm not going to dog him too hard. Okay. I am grateful. I'm grateful for the help. Anyway, just remember, we could just go on and on. I mean, this woman, I'm telling you, aside from being, just a wife to one of the most trifling presidents who started this bubble economy, just let the Jews go all crazy in the Treasury Department and let Alan Greenspan lie to everybody. Hillary Clinton, has more frequent flyer miles than Jesus. Went to 79 countries. She was everywhere, probably trying to stay away from Bill, and that's why he got lonely. First he did it with Monica, and then they got a dog. I hope the dog wasn't like that one in Denmark. You saw the picture.
Oh, my God.
Well, I'm not involved in that.
Oh,
I'm not involved in that. She was involved in Whitewater, and, they did something very dirty and crooked. They didn't find her, but, they busted her and Monica Lewinsky. Now, if you're a real wife, your man isn't trying to grope every woman that walks by if you know how to drop some skin on them. In fact, you can beat him down so bad he can't even think about anybody else. So we know that she's a dud in bed. You're a dud. You suck at sucking, Hillary. You suck at loving your man. You got the most powerful white man in the world, and you can't please him. And some psychotic Jewish chick can at least get him to almost put a cigar in her. She saved the skirt. Seems like if you were saving some of his juice, he wouldn't be messing with somebody that wants a cigar stuck in them. So, Hillary, you're sorry as a wife. You didn't love your husband. You only had one child with him. You probably didn't want to have that. It's alleged that you like Hispanic women and you've been munching their carpets. And this one,
I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and I remember people in Arkansas used to say that she had more women than he did.
They shared. By the way, one committee that she was on in the Senate was quite appropriate, called the Special Committee on Aging. She probably chaired it the way the bags under her eyes look.
Ooh.
Yes, I said it.
Did she look like she was trying to fall out on the table every time?
Oh, Lord, you know what? If a camel had as much liquid in its humps as she did on them eyes, that thing could walk across 2 deserts. Yes, Hillary, we talking about you, Hillary. We tired of this. You got reelected. But you supported all the wars. You supported all this bad stuff. You voted for the Patriot. This troll voted for the Patriot Act 1 and 2. Actually, no, she did 1 because Obama did the second one. But you voted for the thing that began to take our rights away. You know that this 9/11 stuff, there's another story, but we won't even get into that. And where'd you get $36 million to run for the Senate? And so, she's completely in the pocket of AIPAC. If we get Hillary Clinton, we're definitely going to get a war with Iran. I believe that's what she wants to do. And I don't care how many Facebooks. I don't care if she finds a boyfriend at long last and divorces Bill. We see through you. We're not going for it. As again, when you look like James Cagney, and James Cagney's been dead for at least 20 years, then we want somebody. We need a new face, a fresher face. Black people, you turned your back on Hillary when her husband said some trash about Hillary back in 2008 during the New Hampshire primary. Y'all can turn your back on her this time. There's got to be somebody else, anybody else, just not her, you know. It's got to be someone other than her. I mean, just, you can't name anything. So I'm just tired of her. I heard she had some medical problems. I mean, I know one of them is mental. And, you know, remember when the president's Secret Service, or no, it was some uniformed Secret Services down in Colombia. Hillary was in the lesbian bar dancing.
Oh, really?
Oh,
well, they were having
yes.
a prostitute and didn't want to pay them.
Yeah, they did. You know what? And when she ran the State Department, you can go Google it, all kinds of debauchery. So she just turned the whole State Department out. You know, don't hold back if it feels good, as long as you're not a man. That's her little thing. So you don't be interested in me, dude. Now, I'm going to tell you something personal. I used to work for a catering company, and I worked in all kinds of people's homes. The one place that they never would send me was to Hillary's house. I said, oh, you can't go there, because they figured me and Hillary were going to have this argument. So I just tell her, you know what, did you lick your eyelashes, or do you have somebody upstairs? Because, you know, your tongue is here. I mean, anyway, but, you know, so I was like, I don't want to work there, because I might be honest with her. Okay. Now, is anybody listening? I just had to get that off my chest. Please don't vote for Hillary. I mean, there's got to be somebody. Let her be a suppository in the history book somewhere, but she don't need to be president. You're already in the White House. You've already been Secretary of State. You've had a few wars, had people killed, you know. And on top of that, you know, what are we going to do? I mean, is Monica Lewinsky going to come back and want a prosthesis instead of a cigar? Now the woman president is female. And she said that she didn't care about Monica Lewinsky. Now, you know, a woman that's really into her man would never like anyone that tried to take her man away from her and wouldn't joke about it. If you cared about the man, the relationship would matter. Yeah. Okay, you get what I'm saying? And they just released it today. There's some document that talks about how she felt about it and all that kind of stuff. Now, I don't care anymore about that. We need to remember Hillary Clinton's also the one that let all those people get killed in Egypt. Hillary Clinton supported this coup against Morsi. Hillary Clinton let the people in Tunisia die when they could have helped them earlier. I mean, Afghanistan, she's been part of the policy. She's a team player in whatever bad war stuff's happening. So how can you get something new? That's like me thinking because, you know, I washed my dingling off, it's going to get bigger. It's not. It's going to be as big as it was when I went in the shower. It may get smaller if the water's too hot. You know, we need to grow up, okay? Please don't vote for Hillary. I could be more serious and talk about policy, but I know how our people are. We don't like a lot of facts and information. They get bored. Our eyes glaze over. That's why a bunch of y'all got subprime loans and y'all out living under a bridge somewhere. I hope you're hearing this through your phone. But you know, we need to get what as a people. You know, we do. Okay. I just had to get that off my chest. Don't vote for Hillary or Billary or Killary. I mean, Hillary, Killary, Billary. Don't vote for her.
Somebody just sent a message about that, Killary. I want you to also, before we take a call, talk about West Papua. So she's aware of West Papua with her being Secretary of State. So she's
let's talk about West Papua. Look, she was in the Senate. Her husband was president when the Indonesians were doing genocide in East Timor. She gets it. She don't care, okay? Indonesia's a partner in the war on terror, okay? You need to understand that when the tsunamis hit, Americans are helping kill people in Sumatra, either giving, military advisors. Basically, these people teaching other folks how to kill. In the northern part of Sumatra called Aceh. The Aceh is another Afro-Asian group that's on resource-rich land that, the lighter-skinned Malay Indonesians want to bump off, okay? And, when the tsunami hit, remember Obama didn't help none of the black people. They helped all the white people, helped all the Asian people. And they said, black people got washed away. Oh, good, that's fewer condoms. And Depo-Provera needs to send. And that was, that was like a fart. Ooh, I'm glad I let that out. Not that, people in Africa needed some help. Where's Hillary? You know what? When Congo, let's just talk about Congo. Millions of people have died in Congo. You know what, Hillary, along with that, in fact, when Bush was president, there was less fighting. on the continent of Africa, when Obama got in, people said, oh, hell, he's black. We know he won't care. They waited for Obama to get elected before they started killing in the Congo. And the killing has been crazy ever since Obama's been in. And Hillary was the Secretary of State. She ain't do nothing for Congo. And I like that. She ain't. Uganda. South Sudan. Who helped engineer this fake country called South Sudan? Hillary did it. Who's supporting the repressive government that's dogging all these people in Ethiopia? Minla Zenawi, who just died. Hillary's down with that. She don't believe in no human rights. So who looked the other way when they did genocide on the Tamils in Sri Lanka? Hillary. Not that she's the only one, but she's right there, you know? So please, people, you said you need a woman's touch. We're not talking about getting a BJ. We're talking about putting someone as president. There's got to be a cleaner, better-looking woman with smaller bags under her eyes who can at least make a man come 2 times during his life, you know, because we only know about Chelsea. There may have been another time, but we're not going to claim that. There will be some evidence. Amen? You know, yeah, I just had to ride her. So, you know, just take some. Let's take a call or two because I don't have too much time to talk about that troll. I mean, we're going to wrap this early tonight. Praise the Lord.
Praise
Amen.
The Lord. Let's take a call. Let's see. We have a call from 973. Your mic is open. Welcome to the Lotus Coast. How are you?
Hello, this is Marquise. How are y'all doing?
Oh, we good, bro. We good. I hope that this isn't a call of sympathy for Hillary, because you know I'm feeling kind of cocky tonight.
Yeah, I
I'm ready for the black.
I just only have two questions. How many suits do you think she have? Suits.
Like attire, like suits, like
you mean men or women?
Yeah, men's suits.
Oh God,
men's suits.
I think that she's a model for Joseph A. Bank.
The men's warehouse.
Yeah, it's the same company.
You know, her ankles are horrendous, so she has to wear those long pants leg suits and things.
But, you know, we're going to name a vacuum cleaner after her when she leaves public life.
And this is my second question. Okay. Do you think our people will ever wake up and learn by the end of 2014?
I think some of our people only learn when they're looking at a smokestack in one of those FEMA camps, unfortunately.
Oh, wow, yeah, the FEMA camps. Yeah, I've been hearing some rumors about them FEMA camps lately.
Yeah,
well, no, the camps exist. The camps have been around a long time. There's Topaz, and there's some others, Phoenixville. You have these camps that have existed since before the Second World War, where they put the Japanese. Topaz is one of them. There are many of these camps, and those camps were reactivated in the late 60s for black people. I mean, that's not my imagination, and, you know, to hell with anyone who calls it conspiracy theory, because you know what? The master of conspiracy theories are the white folks who control all us, run us with all this bullshit all these years. Now, those people know about conspiracy, so when they tell you you're saying conspiracy theory, when you tell them the truth, it takes one to know one. That's how I say. Just keep it moving, like a Motown song. Yeah. So, I don't know when we're going to wake up. In fact, if the hubcaps, if they put Obama hubcaps on the trucks, if they're taking black people to concentration camps too, everybody want to get on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of those FEMA tanks in places like Georgia. I mean, they're all around.
I mean, and all the military camps that they deactivate, they're there. They don't take them down. They don't move the barbed wire. I was out in Tucson, Arizona. They got all the B-52 bombers and stuff. They got this huge graveyard full of planes. I mean, they're selling it to other countries. They're taking the parts off. They plan. They have a plan inside a plan for whatever's going to happen. So, you know, the only people who don't plan are black folks. So when you don't plan, you plan to fail, and when the people don't plan, you plan to be exterminated.
Yeah, and you're right about that. Listen, do you have any websites about those FEMA camps?
You can go on YouTube.
I don't, but all you need to do is go to InfoWars.
Yeah,
That's one place. But there's a book by Sam Yates called The Choice. It may be out of print, but it talked about the danger that black people face. You can go back and look. I don't think it's that hard to find the names of these centers. In fact, you can look up the Japanese internment between 1941 and 1945, and many of those camps still exist. So it's, all you have to do is put up some wire. I mean, you get a couple of people from Mexico who can't pick lettuce or grapes because of the drought in California, and they can throw some wire up real fast. Making a concentration camp or a center to hold people takes very little, because you're not trying to build saunas and a solarium. You just want people and places where they can be contained. That takes very little. You can get a few trucks, a few people, and put barbed wire around almost anything, and it's done.
Yeah, Marquise, you can also look at Alex Jones' InfoWars. I was just trying to send you a message on Facebook, Marquise, and
I got it.
I can't send you. Well, I was trying to send another one. I'm getting a message. I guess they don't like the topic of this show. I need a confirmation before. I've never seen anything like this before. I need a confirmation before I can send you a message in the Facebook inbox. Oh, they missing.
And also, but here's the thing: a lot of us don't really know that actually Barack Obama is actually a Muslim, or that's what he says sometimes, because I be hearing them say that he's a Christian, he's a Muslim, he's a Jew, whatever the hell he is, he's phony.
Well, thank you so much, Marquise, for calling in. I'll tell you what, I'll look for some of those links to some of the FEMA camps too.
You're welcome. And I will continue to listen to the rest of the show.
Great. Thank you. All right. Dr. Short?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. We have another caller, and then we'll get ready to wrap it up shortly. Let's see if this person has something to say. Caller from 682.
Yes.
21.
Yes, this is Solomon from Texas. Enjoying the show tonight and the enlightenment that we're getting regarding to the whole family out there that's listening, those that's conscious enough to listen to politics. But I'm wondering when our community will come together as a people, particularly millionaires, i.e. billionaires, who have money liquid enough to buy property. I'm here in Texas, that can buy private property, Texas, Oklahoma, here in the rural South, and come together and create communities that are self-sufficient. I'm Ethiopian and American Indian ancestry, and I like to see a galvanizing of our community, people of color in particular, Melungeons, mixed race, black, Hispanic, American Indian, come together and form, produce their own products. We have solar farms here. We have vacant property laws here in Texas where people can come together, become self-sufficient, don't have to be loyal to any particular party, and become an independent nation within a nation based upon Moorish law and international law as being the indigenous people of the earth. I'd like to see someone speak truth to knowledge about that tonight, and any information you can forward to me in that regard, because I have inherited property here in Texas. There's property that is all around where people can use their properties and cause it to be incubators where we can survive whatever is coming next, whether it's 2014, 2016, and on and so forth. I'd like to hear the panel speak to that. Hello?
I have two. Yeah, I'm here. So we're listening. So I think there are two parts to it. Part one is it would be nice to know exactly what it is, where it is, and how. I won't speak for it, not trying to speak for all peoples, because that sounds great, but I know what it's like, at least from my angle, even when you mention the Ethiopian community, that divisions and conflicts. So I can't tell you what lots of people can or will do, even if it benefits or behooves them to do it. So I avoid those larger things because speaking as a person that's an African American whose folks have been here for forever, who are also Native American, recent folks run from us, just as sure as I'm trying to help this sister where the police nearly killed her and her baby, and they're from Africa, and they're reluctant to listen to whatever we have to say because they see themselves as different, and they have a right to. So we can't say. And people who are Latino, maybe down in Texas, they stick with you. But up here, they identify as white and work against you. Even when they'll talk people of color when they want something, once they've gotten it, black folks are as much niggers to them as to white people. So this greater, we're all together, it sounds nice. It would be great because we don't have the numbers that we should have in this society due to the fact that we like killing our own children with abortion. So, but I can't really embrace all of that. That's wonderful if the Moorish ideology works for some people. I don't identify as a Moor. I identify as something else. And also there's a challenge. But I think that the idea of the land, if you know about land and it's a non-sectarian thing where people can work together, I would love to know where it is, and perhaps not over this phone, because I'm not giving my idea out or my contact out over the phone. That's one. As far as the people who have money, who are black or whatever, they tend to be stingy and selfish, sadly. And when you get mass movements of empowerment, historically in this country, it's come from grassroots people, not from the people that had. They're so into having. They're so into being the only ones. Washington, D.C., or Atlanta, or New York, or any area where you have, or Chicago, where you have a bourgeoisie, whether it's an African-American bourgeoisie or a bourgeoisie of another group, perhaps they stick together, but the African-American bourgeoisie is one of the most corrupt entities in the country, in the world. They could do all kinds of things. I mentioned to you Howard University has laid off about 6% of its workforce in the last 6 months. None of this is necessary. However, the corruption of the corporatist black-neck types, they don't think about things like that. Take Howard University or any HBCU could partner with someone like yourself that has land and produce agricultural goods.
I have a question. I have a question.
Let me finish. Let me finish, because it's my show. There's a resistance to developing the very same things that you talk about by the very people that you expect to do it. And I think you're right. It should be logically smart to create an alternative. But if people have no interest in that because they see their alignment with the other people who are pressing their group, but they see themselves as special, then you don't get that convergence. So that's not an easy thing to do. And in fact, Fedora elite that don't like the masses of people, they either have to be overturned, turned out, or forced to do what they could do. And because we live in a society, in particular, I'm talking about African Americans, and when you go on the more tangent, you're free to do that. That's not where my head is. And you ask me. When I think about my folks who tend to be either Muslim or church-type people, when you try to come together in this country, in particular, openly, it invites the aggression of the Anglo-American elite who are very conscious that they do not want a black or brown or any other kind of nation within this nation unless it's like the Indian reservations that are very marginal, that are being robbed of their mineral resources by the Bureau of Indian Affairs and other government agencies. So theoretically, it's possible, but there are all sorts of challenges to get to that point. Even if you look at existing farming communities, white farming communities that are undersold by the larger corporations. We won't even get into black farmers who are systematically being destroyed or undercompensated for decades of discrimination. But I agree with you. In principle, this must happen. This should exist. How that's done is very, very, very difficult. In particular, if you're asking the American masses or any particular subgrouping where people are poorer now than they've ever been, how do they come together when they've been spent, where people are not even having money to eat? And my other question or thought is Texas trying to do with Texas what blacks tried to do in Oklahoma. When whites discovered black people were going to Oklahoma to try to have space, even more of them came to make certain that we didn't get it. I'm curious, if people saw blacks coming, who could keep their mouths shut about what we plan to do? And then they tell everyone, because I've observed the psychology of people who are slaves in their mind, they almost volunteer information that should not be shared with people you don't know or don't trust. So I'm thinking if you do any study of your small independent towns, they did succeed for a while, but they ended up being squeezed by the larger, more powerful economic groups. And so how that's done, it can be. But do people have the discipline, the vision of community, the vision of collective working together, which is the opposite message that you get through the television, through the radio, even through organized religion? Where do you find these people? And there are examples of when people trusted folks to do collective organizing for mutual uplift. You get things like Jonestown, Guyana. So there's a fear of even coming together. Do I lose my freedom? Will I be treated worse by this group of people who have beliefs alternative from that of the large mainstream society? So it should happen, but how, who, when, that's a lot of work. And I wonder, will it take a crisis for people to be able to open their minds to the idea that you have? But the issue of the land is critical. People can produce. People should do it. There are people doing it on small scale with urban gardening. There is some of this. But anytime the United States is trying to undermine the government of Venezuela for them trying to do things similar to what you're talking about, if they'll take down societies like Libya that are trying to do what you're talking about overseas, how will they respond to something that could be a threat to their criminal, plutocratic, winner-take-all, everything belongs to us mindset? And who would defend those people once they had the land, once they were doing these things? Who's going to protect the property? And I'm saying this to you as a person whose family had their property taken, that they held for many generations, because the courts won't do it, and the United Nations might not even hear it. And if you're saying you've got a gun, they have many more.
We have a call. You just mentioned urban.
We're supposed to go off at 10 though, so I'm wondering.
Let's just take this last one call. This is actually the brother that I mentioned to you earlier this week with the Huru News and the Burning Spear. Brother Omawali, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sure.
Greetings, brother. Thank you for calling in.
I've really enjoyed what has been said. I tried to send you all something on Facebook, but I don't know if it went through or not. But one thing, Dr. Short, that I think was missing with the formulation that the brother put forth before the last speaker was that the question of revolution has to be put on the table. There's no way we can get around it. And I think that if we confine ourselves as Africans here in the U.S., or if we confine ourselves as Africans just in Zimbabwe, as opposed to the way they fight us in terms of all of Europe uniting, then no, there's no way out. We can't scheme our way out. But I do think that the African Revolution can solve all these problems that we're talking about. I know we're reaching way out there, but trust me, brother, I think people like Hillary Clinton, and you made a good case against Hillary, but the fact is that Hillary, Barack, Bill, all of them are capitalist pigs. They lord over a system that was built on what? Slavery and genocide. Slavery and genocide.
Absolutely. I do not disagree. If you heard what I said at the beginning, reformist shouldn't call me.
I heard
you. Can't be reformed. You can't reform an AIDS virus. You can't reform a gonorrhea bacteria. It is what it is. You either kill it or learn to live with it.
Because
the brother
not only
has a great
was
idea.
Born off of genocide and slavery, it's sustained off that.
Exactly. Look, we're in full agreement. And the international finance capital system of capitalism is based on our elimination over time. Okay, and it keeps metastasizing or metamorphosizing into something more deadly to us. This gentleman who was speaking made a point. My grandparents in the 1950s tried to create a black collective in western Pennsylvania. But you see, the FBI and people were watching what my grandparents were trying to do. It bankrupted my grandparents, caused my grandmother to have a nervous breakdown. They ever recovered. I don't think they ever recovered from that. But they had the land. The land has oil on it. Land has gold on it. The government knew. And it's interesting. When I say to the brother, who's going to work as a collective? My grandfather owned a cab company. A very profitable company. If the other black folks that they had reached out to had kept their word, the land would have been paid up. The government stepped in and foreclosed on it. And so this is what I mean by when people are not truthful or honest or loyal or committed, or there's no way to enforce. You know how when you deal with certain black folks, they'll promise you the moon. And you didn't ask them for but a blow pop. They promise you the moon. Don't deliver the blow pop. And then they get mad at you when you say you didn't even give me the wrapper.
Yeah,
and they'll turn around and say, but you asked for the moon. You asked me for the moon. So how do you have such a society or collective without some laws, without some rules? If you snitch or you betray or that you pay. We have no law or covenant amongst ourselves as people of African descent to make those things happen the way that they need to be. It's not that we can't have it. We haven't created it. Marcus Garvey wanted it. Marcus Garvey was betrayed by people who didn't even understand what the man wanted. Mm-hmm. So when we look at it, it is not that we can't do. I was putting questions on the brother not to put down his idea, but to say to him, when you go in against the beast, you've got to look at every angle of what the beast is going to do and the beast's friends, the traitors, because they're always out there.
That's true.
The basis of this black bourgeoisie has been going back in this country to the 1650s when the Indians and my tribe, the Powhatan, got with other people who were black and Indian mixed to turn the white people out. One black person sold out and was made a millionaire, and that has become the symbol of success for most African Americans and Africans is to cooperate with the white man against the majority of your brothers and sisters so you as the individual can be successful. Damn the collective and worship the individual, whereas white people talk about individualism but practice collectivism. We must learn how to preach and practice collective sharing. I see people, I meet people. I got a call from one of the brothers who worked with Brother Kwame Ture, a.k.a. Stokely Carmichael. I know people who've been all over the world, been offered millions of dollars, but they're so committed to the liberation of Africa, they live as paupers. You understand? You know what I'm talking about, the kind of people who have nothing because they're committed.
Yeah, I saw some people.
It's quite backwards.
Now, I saw some people in your film last night. I saw Bukasa Willie Ricks there. I saw Imam Musa there.
Imam Musa. These are people are people that I selected to be in a film. We're going to do another one. Maybe you'll be in that one because we're talking about black leadership and other issues. The people that I know,
who've given their whole life, you know.
Yeah, they've given everything, but you know what? Dr. King gave everything. Malcolm gave everything. Medgar, there are people who've been willing to give up everything for their people, but we have to punish our traitors and correct this contradiction in our community, because I see and hear your voice, your spirit. I see a Shira. I even hear the brother in Texas, people who want it. And there's those who are against it, the Clarence Thomases, the Susan Rices, the Barack Obamas, the Eric Holders, these congressional black confusion people who don't stand up. These people can no longer be trusted with the reins of power. They should be pariahized. I love Winnie Mandela. She's the one person who knows how to clean house. We need more people who say, if you pray us, we're going to get you. Once we have a system of punishing traitors, ostracizing collaborators, we can then find one another, because we're going to have on lockdown anyone who would do us in. Not a day of my life goes by that I don't hear of some group of black folks somewhere trying to do something, and there's one person, one Judas. And the thing I like about the Bible story is Judas hung himself. If I had to write the Bible, my disciples would have hung Judas.
Yes. Well, see, if there's no, if you don't have to pay any dues, then they do that.
And that's my point about when you say people of color, folks who come to this country who are not African American, who not walked the picket line or their family lost stuff, they can't. They don't have the moral authority or the right to be partners with us as equals. It's a problem. It's the same way if you go to Africa. I know you've been there. I've been many countries in Africa. I never pretend like I know what it means to be in that country. I arrive there. They stamp my passport. I find someone that knows that society to lead me around like a baby that can't read, can't even piss properly, because I'm not from there. When other people come here, they pretend that they know the society better than African Americans, like they don't need to talk to us or dialogue or deal with us. They're going to get it without us. Okay, until they have a problem, until the police shoot or beat their child, or until their business gets taken or their home gets stolen, and they discover, man, this country is a wicked institution. It is a fraud. It is a demonic vacuum tube sucking the life out of Africa and its people for this generation and all those to come if it doesn't get stopped. If someone doesn't pull the plug on this vacuum tube, it's going to suck us all up. Until people are willing to be honest, hey, you people who have this relationship with the society that can see its secrets and know where the bodies are buried, we want to be in consultative, co-associative relationship with you. Normally, no people move from one country to another to be associated with the pariahized outcast group. That's actually moronic to expect that. Even as people talk about this African-American Indian nexus, which I talk about, we need to remember within the last 3 years, the Cherokees kicked the blacks out of the tribe. Within the last 20 years, the Seminoles kicked the blacks out of the tribe. So even the Native Americans who held blacks as slaves have rejected us in order to hang with the Anglo-Americans. So in this country, we're going to have to learn how to work with ourselves, and then we can build meaningful relationships with other people. I'm not against people from being from anywhere else. I'll tell anyone, my mother's people from Barbados several hundred years ago, and I have family from the Dominican Republic, but I'm an African-American in orientation and worldview. So I'm not mad at people. I've worked with folks from all over the world. I don't have a problem. I've done advocacy for people from Sudan, Oromos from Ethiopia, whatever. But what about here? And every base community with its own particularity has to be respected for us to work together. And it can't be discounted. African-American or African Amerindian, whatever I call myself, it's not inconsistent that I have an identity in this country and yet a wider family on all the continents, including Australia and the islands of the Pacific and Indian Ocean. So but we must have a regime change. They're changing everybody else's regime. We need to change theirs.
You're absolutely right. I'm going to hang up and listen to you talk. You've got a listener now.
Well, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, no, we want you to come on. You need to come on. I want you to come on and speak because we just have to inform and educate. So trust me, there's so much I could learn from you. And so I welcome it. I actually want to hear from the brother that's down in Texas because I know some people I'd like to plug into and see if there's something that can happen. I'm convinced he's on something. If he's got the commanding heights of land where we can produce something, all we got to do is find some people that can have a vision. I just don't want a bunch of folks stab me in the back, grin in my face, call me brother, and then hating my guts. I worked in the catering sector for 10 years with people of color from all over the world, and the one thing I learned was virtually everybody looked down on African Americans, and African Americans were at each other's throats, which abetted the people looking down. You can't work with someone that doesn't respect you, and you've got to respect yourself for people to respect you. So there's got to be a process to recover the dignity and self-respect, self-reliance, self-determination of the African American people in order for them to be able to partner with people from other countries. And it doesn't make me feel good if someone say, oh, you work so hard. You're not from America, are you? You speak English so well. Are you from Ethiopia? Are you from Nigeria? Oh, you can't be from America. You're much too smart. I don't like that from white people, and I don't like that from recent arrivals from other places in the diaspora. And anybody with self-respect that's black would begin to see people who come here with that kind of condescension, who don't ever want to go back to where they came from originally, can't be friends to such people. So we've got to work out these things. And in a hurry, I'll just repeat, the woman I went to Howard University with, who's from Sierra Leone, had to literally almost have her daughter killed by police literally trying to squash a woman in her third trimester, crush her baby inside of her publicly before she's been able to look at America and see it's a racist society. I mean, that's how deep the brainwashing is. When this brother suggests partnering with people, I can't work with someone that doesn't think racism is real, or that what African Americans' testimony against the Anglo-American elite and all the people who are partnered with folks who've exploited and killed us and our many manifestations of colors and identities and heritages, I can't work with them. But I'm basically done. I'm off my soapbox. I promised my sister we'd be done by 10:15. We need to do this again. And this time, you come and I can sort of listen. Okay, bless y'all. Don't vote for Hillary, Billary. We need a president, not a resident. Amen. Good night, y'all.
Good night. Thank you, Brother Amawala.
Nidari wa gure walege narire o papua walege narire tugigalo wagagureire o wenegalo wagagureire waiya o wa otono minina ire nire o merede kawaroge narire